Welcome to a summary of the 2026 Volkswagen Golf GTI Edition 50, as featured in recent YouTube reviews actually on the 30th of January 2026. The car was sort of launched in Spain, and yeah, I was not invited, sadly, to this, but I can give you a summary of kind of what those kind of reviews entailed in this sort of like, I suppose, about 15-minute clip, sharing the car in this, as you can currently see, in Tornado Red, but also Dark Moss Green Metallic on the move, two exclusive colours for the Edition 50. But essentially, it's celebrated as the most powerful production GTI yet. So it's packing 325 horsepower or 239 kilowatts to mark 50 years of the icon. So a summary of the key points. So performance-wise, it's a 2-litre EA888 turbocharged engine. You can get it with a performance package, which I'll go into in a second, but it has a 7-speed DSG gearbox. It achieves 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, so that's about 0 to 62, in 5.3 seconds. Although on some tests, it did it in 4.93 seconds. So sub 5 seconds in essentially a front-wheel drive car is pretty good. And I believe that's due to the fact that, well, it has, as part of the performance package, you get the optional semi-slick tyres. The tyres actually weigh less in themselves, but also apply more grip. So if you get a decent, a dry day, which it looked like this was tested more on wet, but maybe they found some dry sort of roads. It's a quick car for a front-wheel drive car. And has a top speed of 270 kilometers an hour. So the driving experience, from what people sort of said, essentially, I've basically used AI to kind of give this little summary just to make it, well, simple for you guys, to be fair. I've literally just gone into Google and I said, give me a word summary of the GTI Edition 50 based on the YouTube reviews, and this is what it said. I look forward to hopefully trying the car myself and giving you my own personal subjective impressions. And I kind of wanted to cut through some of the things that perhaps I would even disagree with, even without trying it, and also stuff that I'd agree with, to help you out. Because for me, you guys watching are the most important people. I don't get paid by Volkswagen to share this. I share it because it's a passion of mine. I have a Golf R, I like the GTIs, and I like Volkswagen Audi Group cars. But ultimately, you are the people who are going to be paying the money for the car. So this car starts from £48,000 in the UK, or €55,000. I want to make sure you're putting your money in, a good car. That's essentially it. And that's what this little summary is, supposed to basically be able to do. And I've got more information actually, because they've released a little bit more of a press document as well, which I've just found just by basically going onto the VW's press page, which anyone can kind of do online, and sort of seeing it. And that's where I've got the footage from. So the footage is from there for you to kind of use. As you can see, the Tornado Red. Now it's obviously the Dark Moss Green Metallic on the move. They also provided the sound, which is the first thing that I want to comment on. Fair enough, it was in the rain, so all you can hear is the rain, and it's quite windy and stuff like that. I don't think it sounds particularly, special, personally. From none of the reviews, none of this audio made it sound good. I actually wanted to share a video with you guys of just sharing the noise, but honestly, I was listening to it back, and I was just like, no, I can't even stand this. It's just hurting my ears. It just sounded whooshing. It was the rain noise. You couldn't really tell what the car sounded like at all. So that's why I decided to sort of just show you the footage, which is in, I'd say not sunny Spain, but, you get an idea of what the car looks like at different angles, particularly in the two exclusive colours, which are option colours, which I would recommend optioning to go for, Dark Moss Green Metallic and Tornado Red. So the driving experience says it is described as very balanced and capable. And then it mentions the Aquaprovich exhaust system, which you can get as part of the performance pack, the 19-inch wheels, the optional semi-slick tyres. And the design, the model brings back heritage colours, including Tornado Red, Dark Moss Green Metallic. You get some Edition 50 decals as well. You've got the red sort of side stripe, Edition 50 sort of showing the door mirrors, and on the steer, yeah. Little tiny touches around, which is better than nothing, I guess. It says price and value. It says critics notice this is the most expensive GTI ever. That is technically true. With prices exceeding €80,000 in some configurations, putting it in Golf R territory. Now that is true. I mean, €80,000 sounds like a fully spec'd car. But the performance pack and a paint, maybe if you went for leather seats, you can go for a pan roof as well. Yeah, you can spec it quite highly. So it does seem quite a high amount. I've spent a lot of time with subscribers of my channel driving sort of like the standard GTI Club Sport, and I'm curious to know how this puts its power down, because that was 296 horsepower, and I found the front wheels struggling for grip in most conditions. In fact, even the standard GTI, the Mark 8.5 at 265, for me, you're sort of on and off the throttle. So maybe this is a note of how much power you can get for a front-wheel drive car. In optimal conditions, perhaps. So it's on the fence until I try the car and I get a good feel of it. I'm only going off what some of these reviews have said and from what I've kind of seen and kind of know about the car. I will say I'm kind of a glass half full. I'm quite a person who's, I'm happy these cars are being produced in 2026. So well done VW for making it. And, any issues with potential sound or any sort of, at the end of the day, I'm not really going to criticize it because I'm just happy it's here. It's a practical Mark 8.5 VW Golf that you can use every day. That's the idea. 5 doors, 5 seats. What's the compromise? Decent economy, decent performance, sporty performance. Great. So what they've said here on this little AI thing is, verdict is it is considered a special high-performance last hurrah for the petrol hot hatch, though its high price point is heavily debated. So that's basically what AI has basically gone in and checked out every one of the reviews. And I watched a few of them as well. I watched one from also Fugel, who I do enjoy because, I've watched some reviews from them in the past. And they were sort of mentioning stuff about leasing it is the only real way to go for it. It was very much on the price being way too much. That's what it was kind of sort of saying. But this is what it costs in 2026. So for me, it's like, can you afford it is subjective to you. That's really it. Whether the car is worth what people will pay at the end of the day. For me, I'm very, very curious, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful to do some more reviews on a GTI Club Sport actually from subscribers that I know, and just sort of getting a more of a feel of the car, because you can get a Mark 8 Golf GTI Club Sport with 296 horsepower in the UK anyway for around £25,000. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But there was this quite a lot like a document of the car actually, which is quite cool. And it kind of gave across essentially some of the key aspects of the car. So for reference, this is 50 years to the Golf GTI. The whole hot hatch genre started from the GTI. That's what the Edition 50 is about. My personal favourite to date is the Edition 40 because I loved it. I drove it from a subscriber early on in the channel actually. Love that car. Very much for me what an Edition should be. You could get optional bucket seats, which were just incredible. The car's stance looked great. 3-door, 5-door. But it had five seats as well. So it was sort of like, it looks like a Club Sport S, which was the record holder. It sounded great. It had a Club Sport style exhaust. It was obviously pre-OPF, pre-2017, which a lot of cars then changed after that. Again, not knocking this car, but that's just the case, and that's what I enjoyed about that kind of car. So what it says are key aspects for this is it's stronger. This is Volkswagen themselves, so they're obviously going to be promoting their car. They're never going to say, yeah, our GTI Edition 50 ain't that great, are they? So, take what you will with your ears as you would like. So the key aspects, stronger. Technically and visually individualized, Golf GTI Edition 50 is the most powerful series production GTI to date, with 239 kilowatts, 325 PS. Faster, the new Golf GTI Edition 50 accelerates from a standstill to 100 kilometers an hour in just 5.3 seconds and has a top speed of 270 kilometers an hour. Now, I watched some 0 to 60, 0 to 100 reviews in Germany from people testing it, and it looked like it's a sub 5 seconds car. A sub 5 second front wheel drive car is extremely impressive. I felt a standard Club Sport shifted. So once this thing gets motor in, it will fly. And because it does weigh less than the 4-wheel drive R, it's probably quicker. It definitely is quicker. It's quicker on the Nürburgring anyway. So it says more exclusive. Anniversary GTI comes as standard with DCC. I don't know how that makes things more exclusive because you could obviously just option DCC on your other Club Sport. 19-inch wheels as standard, so yeah, again, you could option that on a standard Club Sport. Exclusive paint finishes, agreed. You can't get this Tornado Red or the Dartmoor Screen Metallic on any other Club Sport. There you go. But I mean, if you got one used with high miles, you could probably paint it yourself for less than this car costs if you really wanted to. LED matrix lights and new seat cover pattern. Yeah, it does look nice inside. You can also get this Art Velour steering wheel, which you saw as well early on, which is just a little option. More dynamic. So the GTI Performance Package with chassis upgrade, 19-inch forged wheels, which is the Varminal wheels, and titanium part tailpipes, reduce weight by approximately 25 kilograms. Now that is specific for the GTI Edition 50. Now, although you can option this is where it gets confusing, this titanium exhaust on a standard Club Sport, which again will reduce the weight. The 19-inch wheels you can get on a standard Club Sport, which will also reduce the weight. So that sort of reduced weight you could get on a standard GTI Club Sport. The thing that you don't get is the fact that camber and the car is set up, and the suspension is set up lower as well, is specific for this Edition 50. That's what you're getting. You're getting that, intricacy for those dynamics and how it's tuned with the DCC. It's very much, specific Edition 50. So those are kind of the overview of it. I kind of hope this helps, and I've been finding it a little bit confusing. I don't think it's like a half-hearted effort. I would probably say I actually drove a Mark 8 GTI Edition 45. That felt a bit more like a half-hearted effort. Looked pretty cool, went great, but I didn't see it any different than a normal Club Sport. This at least is a little bit more than the standard Club Sport. But I'm on the fence. I'm very much on the fence of what a front-wheel drive car can handle. This was where I wasn't so sure, and I'll have to see it myself subjectively. With the performance package, this car looked firm. It looked stiff. And let's be honest, and I'd probably be the same. Not that it was sunny, but if you're down in Spain, you're testing all these cars, you're going to be like, yeah, this is a great time. You're probably going to enjoy yourself. But you'd probably enjoy yourself if you were in a standard Golf, a Golf R-Line. Nothing wrong with that. Or a match. So to try and get my perspective into what you're going to be like, this car is firm. If you option it with the performance package, it's going to get firmer. The standard Club Sport is firm, particularly without DCC. With DCC, it's still firm. Don't think that this car is not, an easy car to ride. It's not. You're going to get more compromises. If you want a little bit more of a softer ride, go for the standard GTI. The standard GTI, which I have spent time in actually, is a recent video. I drove it around the Lake District and it was great. 265 horsepower. It didn't seem to have so many more of the technical inputs that this car has been given. This car seems to be like overloaded from great people like Benny Loiter testing it on the Nürburgring and doing all the tweaks to make it right for track. But he's not testing it to, drive around, a UK road, for example. He's testing it on a track. Yes, the track is bumpy, but it doesn't have potholes on it. These are just my kind of thoughts. It's just something that for me is going to be more for summer orientated nature. Perhaps for the road, you're better off going without the performance package, without that load suspension, without the semi-slick tyres. But then I question why you would kind of get Edition 50 in the first place. I'd just go for a normal Club Sport. But then it's subjective to you. You'd still get an Edition 50. You'd still get the extra power and some of the little stylings. And you could obviously go for the cool colours too. So, it's your choice. You spend your money how you like at the end of the day. I'm hopefully giving you a 15-minute overview of where your money's going to go. All these beautiful pictures and the images and the videos and the cars striking, driving along. It's not even sunny, but that's sort of like an idyllic sort of situation. If you find a back road on a nice Sunday morning, hey, perhaps you can replicate it. And that's maybe what the use of the car will be. But just bear in mind those day-to-day things, some of the compromises, but also some of the pleasures, because it's a cool car. You live once. Hot hatches I thought were going to be dead by now. I'll just be completely honest. I'm very surprised this car's coming out. Everything seems to now be going more, obviously. We're going to have to see where everything is. Will the next version be a hybrid? Will it be electric? Will it even be made? Seems like VW are committed certainly to 2030, but I'd be question marks about there being another anniversary in petrol-powered guise, which is what the original kind of GTI was all about. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I believe deliveries in the UK are going to come out in the next couple of months, perhaps. I'm filming this in the start of February 2026. If you've got a car, feel free to reach out. I'd be keen to kind of share it on the UK roads. And let me know what you think. Let me know what spec you've gone for. Let me know your pros and cons, because obviously you haven't driven it yet. And let me know what you thought of some of the other potential reviews that are on YouTube from people who did drive it down in Spain. Thank you so much for watching.